Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much. And hopefully you had a wonderful Lord's Day. It's a wonderful day. We are celebrating 50,000 subscribers on the channel, which is totally, absolutely, unequivocally amazing to me. I never thought 4 years ago when I started this channel that I would ever get here, much less in such a short amount of time. So thank you all to everybody's tapped in. I'm looking forward to wrap with you all. We got a lot of good content to go over. I'm gonna be cleaning out the traps tonight. So I'm gonna go over a little bit about how we got here. And then I just got to clean out a whole bunch of videos that we got going on. So we can start next week, or actually start the month of October. What is Tuesday? We can start the month off right. So shout out to everybody who's in the best live chat on the planet. There goes my brother. There you go. What's going on, Reform Tosin? I'm doing quite well, sir. Thank you so much for asking. We got Brilliant Disguise in the building. I don't know what's wrong with Candaspiracy. I really don't. But only the Lord knows. I can tell you that much. The Lord does, in fact, know, and he will do something to help her out for sure. Just in case you're wondering, let me give you the screenshot in the background. Make sure y'all can see that like that. I thought that came out pretty well. Shout out to Mike at White Label, sent me that over. And I just needed something quick, and he hooked me up quite well. Thank you so very much, sir. I appreciate it for sure. All right, let's get at it. Let's get active. Hopefully you had a great day. Hopefully, I'm going to go over a little bit about what it actually looks like at 50,000 subscribers. And then we're going to get, like I said, I got a ton of videos we're going to go through. So I'm just going to real quick say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel, the members, people that watch the videos on a regular basis, people that hate watch the videos, all of it. Thank you so much. Let me show you what you all have done. And I'll bring this in real quick. Let's go. All right, this is Social Blade. Y'all know I like to go to Social Blade every now and then and just kind of give you like a lay of the land and what's going on over here on this channel. Of course, at the current moment, we got 50,100 subscribers. Shout out. 10.4 million views, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. 3,500 videos. And I started this channel September 11th, 2021. So roughly 4 years ago in a couple weeks, give or take. And shout out for sure. You all have just been a blessing to this channel. As I told you before, you know, Social Blade is really good for giving you analytics. Some of them they be speculating, they be guesstimating, they be guessing. But I do want to say this right here. You all have been watching these videos, and I want to say thank you so much for that. And I bring this in a little bit closer so you can see. I even started from even as recently as last week, man. I told you all last week I had never had a week with a 1,000 view day. Not only did we have that once, but we did it twice. Shout out. So all last weekend, you all were watching those videos, and I want to say, wow, thank you so much. But not only that, man, the subscribers, people have been subscribing, hitting that subscribe button, which is totally amazing that you all find such value in it. But all this week, man, you all have been tapping into the videos. The comments have been absolutely bonkers. And I just want to say thank you so much. We're averaging 197, let's just say 200 for easy math, 200 subscribers a day and almost 30,000 views every single day. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure I'm giving y'all content that y'all want to watch. And you all are telling me, hey, Jason, what you're putting out there, we want to watch. So shout out to that. So my weekly total at the current moment is about 3,300 subscribers and roughly 424,000 views in a week. So this monthly average, look, we're crushing it. Almost, let's just say 6,000, because math is easier. 6,000 subscribers and almost 900,000 views, almost 1 million views in 1 month, which is totally insane. Absolutely insane. For this month, literally almost 900,000 views. And it's because of y'all. I'm glad that y'all are liking what we're putting out here. Thank you to all of you all for sure. I'm glad that you all are liking this. Thank you so much for tapping in on it. Thank you so much to President Not Perfect. Again, a subscriber and a member who's been blessing the channel for so long. Thank you so much, sir. What does Tosin say? Congrats on 50K, bro. Your faithfulness is paying off. Thank you, sir. Grace and peace to you as well. Looking forward to maybe doing another collab with you real soon. Marshall, the plug. is in the house saying congratulations. Thank you so much, Marshall, man. I really appreciate you, sir, because you have been a blessing to this channel. If y'all don't know, Marshall is, we call him Marshall the Plug. Marshall is our resident TikTok, Twitter aficionado. Every day, you're going to get an email from Marshall with something that you just did not. Matter of fact, I have a video coming up that I got from Marshall. He's always sending us some excellent content. So shout out to Marshall the Plug. If you like some of the stuff we're doing, the likelihood, there's a high probability that Marshall the Plug had his finger on it some way, shape, or form. Shout out to Marshall, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel like you've been doing. And I just want to tell y'all, when I started this channel out discussing and talking about woke ideology in the Christian church. And my overall premise was that woke ideology does not comport, does not resonate, does not work with Christianity. And what I mean by wokeness is the idea that everything could be summed up as racial. I know some people have a different definition of woke ideology, a different definition of critical race theory and such like that, social justice. That's fine. My simple definition is if we could sum it up as everything is racist, therein is the problem. So I started this channel out critiquing persons who are adopting woke ideology in the Christian church. And for 2.5 years, maybe, we had a great time. If you go back into the crates, you'll see sermon series reviews, book reviews, lecture reviews, and all of that, because ultimately critical race theory is a different religion. It's a cult, ultimately. And it does not at all work with Christianity in any way, shape, or form. And so I spent a lot of time talking about that, dissecting that, and all of that kind of good jazz. And I had a great time doing it. I had a wonderful time doing it. And I tell people every morning I wake up and I call myself checking the traps. And I used to get up every morning after I did my prayer and devotion, and I would just see like, what's out here on these social media streets? What's going on social media? And one day I ran across something that I'd never seen before. And it was an article about the Fulton County DA here in Atlanta. Her name is Fani Willis. And I said, oh, okay. And I did and it was a very interesting article about Fani Willis because she's the one that brought charges against Trump. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I did a quick search and I didn't see that anybody was talking about it. And it was really around the YSL trial, particularly. I said, oh, I don't see anybody talking about this trial. And I said, well, maybe I'll do a quick video. And I have to find the actual video. I wanted to bring it up. I said, let me just do a quick video talking about Fani Willis and giving like a little lowdown on it real quick, see what happens. And that was my first video ever to skyrocket and hit 3,000 views in a short amount of time in a day. I never had that happen before. And it was crazy. I was like, wow, this video really did well. Like, wow, man, a lot of people want to talk about this because not a lot of people were talking about it. And I was probably one of the first people that day to bring up that article. And so I said, let's do it again tomorrow. And this is back when I was only putting up one video a day, right? Now I put up probably about 20 a day, but I digress. And so the next day I found another angle on that same story. I think it was a news article here, Atlanta News First at that time, I think was probably my go-to. And I did another one and it did the exact same thing. And I found myself after a couple of days, after short order, not talking about critical race theory and social justice in the Christian church, but rather talking a little bit more about politics and really crazy, talking about legal stuff. Like that's where I got the term I'm a pre-K law student from, right? So I started addressing those matters, really got into the YSL trial about 1.5 years ago. If you remember, that's when we were doing all day live streams, 8, 6, 7, 8 hour long live streams. They were crazy. And we would just look at the case. I went to the courthouse several times. I met some of the people that we were talking about. Remember Voddie and all those guys like that. Shout out to the infamous Sylvia and all them. And lo and behold, I just really started enjoying talking about legal cases. But I had this problem because my channel was still called Dear Woke Christian at the time. And it just kind of ran weird. People would still kind of be like, hey, why are you talking about law cases? Every now and then I'd get 2 or 3 comments and then why are you talking about this when you should be talking about that? Of course, they want to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. And so slowly but surely, I started looking at it because I was talking more about politics. That's when Tiffany Henyard came in. Then we started talking about Mayor Cantrell and Karen Bass, of course, Brandon Johnson and Mayor Adams. And we just started talking about politics in general more, and of course, legal cases. And it became pretty clear to me that maybe it's time for me to transition Dear Woke Christian. Say salute to Dear Woke Christian. Do I got the hat still over here? Yeah, it's over here somewhere. One day I'll show y'all this wall of hats I got over here. Maybe it's time to retire Dear Woke Christian, move into a different direction, because I'm not really talking about social justice and Black Lives Matters in the Christian church like I was before. And so prayed about it, talked to some friends, had a good conversation back and forth. I said, you know what? I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to change the name of the channel. So made some talk with the graphic designer, got it all lined up and all that kind of stuff like that. And back earlier this year, when did we do it? Back in May, I pulled the trigger and finally changed the name to the Jay Witt Podcast. And I think that was one of the better things that I've done on this channel. I've done some things I think are pretty good, like, pretty cool lights. Oh, shout out to the new camera and that kind of stuff. But I think changing the name after a time and recognizing that, hey, you know what? The name is cool. The name is good. But it might be time to retire it, not because the name isn't cool, the name isn't good, but it's just time to grow on and do something different. I had to accept that. A friend of mine told me that, and I said, shout out, and I'll accept that. And guess what? Here we are. So that's kind of the background of the channel. I encourage you, man, go check out some of the stuff I talked about in the past. Arguing with atheists, dealing with different woke ideas, book reviews on different thought leaders in the quote unquote woke and social justice space, dissecting sermons, sermon reviews, all that kind of stuff like that. I had a great time doing it, but now here we are. So where are we going now, Jason? That's a great question. Thank you so much. Well, we've hit 50,000 subscribers. And of course, my goal is to hit 100,000. But even more than that, my goal is to continue to give y'all content that you want to watch. If you don't watch it, then I don't care if I got 50,000 subscribers. Because if I have 100,000 subscribers and nobody watches it, what am I doing? So my goal is to continually listen to what you all are saying. Some of you all have emailed me ideas. Some of you have texted me. Some of you have my number. Some of you have put it in the comment section. But my goal is ultimately to keep giving you content that you find valuable, whether we're talking about, of course, Candace Owens versus the Macrones. I want you to find value in that. If we're going to be talking about, in a minute, I'm going to talk about Nick Fuentes and TPUSA. I want you to find value in that. So what I really want, and I really am asking from you all, is to let me know if you find value in that. Now, of course, you can raise your hand and say, Jason, that's so valuable. I find a lot of value in that. That's great. That's great. You could do that. You could also just comment in the comment section. That's an excellent way to do it. Another great way to let me know that you find value in what I'm doing is watching the video. If you watch the video all the way to the end, it's 10 minutes long. You watch 10 minutes of it. That does help. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps out a whole lot. Another great way, and we did it this month. And by the way, I got to tell you, we got to talk about that. This month, my goal was to hit 40,000 likes in September. So I said, I've never hit 40,000 likes. I really want I want to keep giving people content that they like. And if they like it, I really want them to hit that like button. And let me pull it up so I can show y'all how well you all did this month. So another great way is to just hit the like button. Just hit it. Just touch it. That's all you got to do. And if you don't like it, hit it 3 times. Okay. Just hit it 3 times. But ultimately, I want to find out, like, am I giving you something that you all are enjoying and wanting to rock with? So sometimes people say, hey, Jason, you should talk about this. And there's still people who get in my comment section and tell me what I should be doing videos on. I think that's adorable. Don't stop doing that. But just know that if I don't rock with it, I'm not rocking with it. So, but there's people who jump in my comment section, still tell me what I should be doing, and which is fine. I got no problem with it. If it's crazy, now some people say some stuff and it's not really crazy. I'm like, I never thought about that. All right, so I cannot believe this number. So last month we hit, as a team, because we make a mean team, my Adidas and me. So last month we hit 28,000 likes. And I said, I'm going to try something really crazy. I'm going to beg these people and I'm going to try to give them the best content possible. And I'm going to see if I can get together 40,000 likes, 40. And I said, man, that's going to be crazy town. And you all see that we still got 2 days left in the month. And I'm at currently, you all have hit that like button, just went and touched it 46,000 times, which is insane. I've never had a month where I've hit 40,000 likes, and look at what y'all did. So if somebody asks what's the future of the channel, my goal is to see that 40,000 become 150,000. I want to keep giving you content that you enjoy and that you want to watch. When you see that crazy thumbnail come up, you see my face, you say, oh, I got to see what Jason's talking about. I got to click it. And when I click it, I hit that like button when I see it, because I know he's going to give me something good. Now, if I don't give you something good, then therein is also the truth as well. I need to work on that. But my goal is to give you content that you enjoy watching. So I give you social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. And I want you to say that was a valuable time. I don't want you to say I wasted my time clicking that button. That is not what I want. Now, if you're a hate watcher and you just don't like me, or you don't like the content that I talk about, and you want to say, okay, hey, it is what it is. I got to take what it is. But for the most part, people have been very gracious, understanding, and definitely transparent, saying, hey, I like what you did there. That wasn't a hit. And I've got some emails that say, hey, Jason, that was a swing and a miss. And hey, I'll go back, and I'm not too big to say I can't go back and learn something. Now, I like to learn something from people who are actually doing something. So that being the case, I do like it when there's content creators who tell me, hey, Jason, that wasn't a good video. Or Jason, maybe you should do this, that, and the third. Or maybe you should change this, whatever. But I do listen to the audience as well, because I do want to make sure that I'm not wasting your time. If you click that button, that means that you found, you like what I'm doing enough to click that like button. And I got to give you what you got, give you the best that I got. Like Anita Baker said, I got to give you the best that I got. And if I'm not giving you the best that I got, then I'm wasting your time, and I didn't earn the click. So therein is the situation there. To answer your question, where are we going next? I'm going to keep trying to give you better and better content. I'm going to try to improve my video editing. Shout out to the editors team. I'm going to try to improve my thumbnails, hopefully my titles and all that kind of good jazz. And then, of course, what I'm talking about in the video. I want that to be top notch, top tier, always giving you, I'm not going to waste my time. When you click that button, when you click on my video versus clicking on somebody else's, like, look, hey, somebody else, you're going to have to wait, because Jason over here, I know he's about to cook. That's what I want every time you click it. And of course, hit that like button, because I do want to see that 46 become 146. That would be bonkers, right? But I do want to say thank you all so much. And I want to say thank you. Shout out to what's going on, Independent Mail, with the $10 super. He says this: way to go, senor. Very proud of your work. Salute to you too, Quentin. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Quentin is a content creator here on these YouTube streets as well. Does, again, commentary on the such of that nature, and does excellent work. If you want to drop your link in the chat, Quentin, it'd be great for people to go check out what you're doing over there. Lots of good family reunion going on in this here chat universe right now. Thank you so very much, Susie Q. I love it. Thank you, Pam. Good to see everybody, Renee says. Good to see you too, friend. Congrats. Well, thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate you being a part of the team. I'm glad that you like it, Natalie. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. Honey Bun Express. Now, see, we can't say the word honey without laughing now. Looking at I was watching a video about bees today, honeybees today, and I just was tickled, man. I just could not stop laughing watching this, because all I could think about was Candace talking about those bees. I can't watch bees now without. And now, of course, my algorithm is ruined, because I was looking at these bee videos, and they keep showing up in my algorithm. So your name, needless to say, Honey Bun Express, all I keep laughing about is the word honey. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Marshall lives in New Orleans. So remember the 9 or 10, it was 9 convicts that escaped through a wall in the New Orleans parish jail. Well, Marshall is out there making sure that they find that last one. That guy's still out there, man. That dude is he done probably left the country. At this point in the game, he done probably left the country, Marshall. You don't have to keep looking because he's probably gone. What's going on, Brianne? Thank you so much, friend. Blue Eyes, thank you so much. I appreciate all the great congratulations. Thank you so much. Yeah, the B is just making me laugh. I'm real middle school about this B thing now. I cannot stop laughing about it. What does Brandon say here? Congratulations on the 50K fam. Been here since the jump. I think, you know what? I will give you jump status, Brandon. Thank you so much. Absolutely. We're doling out jump status. What does Nacho say here? You're doing work for Christ with this podcast. Keep Jesus as the focus, talking about current affairs from the perspective of a disciple of Christ. Too many chase eyes instead of sticking to truth. Man, thank you so much, Nacho. I'm about to get on some people's bad lists in a few minutes. I told y'all. My old school way was I used to just find all these videos and I would kind of put them in my watch later folder or a private folder playlist on YouTube. And I would call it cleaning out the traps. I got my little news outlets, shout out to Ground News and all that kind of stuff. So today I got a lot of stuff to clean out the traps because I got to get some stuff out. I got to pick a couple fights today. So we're going to get some things cleared up. But thank y'all so much, everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I greatly appreciate y'all for sure. Now, one of the things is I told you in the beginning, one of my first videos that really went above and beyond, really pushed me out here into this space, was talking about Fani Willis, of all people. I cannot believe Fani Willis was the one that kind of pushed me out there and really got me going. Well, guess what? I got a new video on Fani. A new article on Fani. So I'm going to talk about this real quick because this is something interesting. Fani has found herself in trouble again because, as you all know, she was the one who brought charges against Donald Trump and about 18 co-defendants. Come to find out, she had hired her boyfriend, married boyfriend at that time, to be the lead prosecutor on the RICO trial here in Georgia. And lo and behold, the whole thing just kind of imploded. After lots of legal wrangling, lots of going back and forth, her boyfriend was kicked off the case. She was kicked off the case. Her whole office was kicked off the case. Well, one of the things that was kind of brewing under the surface, and we talked about it, was here in Georgia, they wanted to talk to Fani about how she was spending money. Because, of course, there was a lot of questions about, hey, where's this money coming from? And there's been quite a bit of mendacity. The odor of mendacity is strong here in the Peach State because a lot of people wonder, like, where are you getting all this money from to do these things, but you don't have money for various other things related to your specific job? And so the Georgia Senate had actually wanted to speak with Fani, and Fani refused to come. Fani refused to, I do not have to come to the Georgia Senate hearing on fiscal responsibility for DAs. She just refused to go. She denied the subpoena, so on and so forth. Well, also, the U.S. Senate was going to subpoena her. Well, now, guess what? They have now subpoenaed her. And they want to know about these travel records because there was a lot of questions about her travel records and such. So let's go talk about it real quick. Shout out to Adidas. Federal prosecutors have subpoenaed travel records from Fani Willis, the district attorney of Georgia, who brought election interference charges against President Donald Trump. The Justice Department issued a federal grand jury subpoena seeking records about international trips Willis took near the time of her last year's election. The New York Times reports Theodore Herzberg, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia, leads the inquiry. The investigation's scope remains unclear. Grand jury proceedings are secret by law, and prosecutions haven't disclose whether Willis faces potential charges. That's going to be crazy. If she ends up facing charges because of something like this, we're going to have to do like a little study because every one of them that brought charges against Trump have come into some kind of foul play. We're going to have to talk about this. We will. If she ends up getting charges, that's going to be crazy town. But let's keep going. Jeff DeSantis, a spokesman for Willis, said Friday that we have no comment beyond the fact that we have no knowledge of any investigation. Breaking, the Department of Justice has just subpoenaed the travel records of Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis, per New York Times. Things are really heating up now. Federal investigators are seeking records pertaining to Willis's travel abroad. leading up to, what does it say? I'll bring that in real quick since I find it. Okay. All right. Leading up, Willis traveled abroad the weeks leading up to the 2024 election. That was just like last year. I wonder what, okay. It's unclear what exactly is being investigated. This may just be the first of many legal issues for Big Fani. All right, let's go back over here. Bang. And we're getting better at that. Shout out to that. Willis has charged Trump, of course, we know this, and several allies in August 23 with orchestrating a criminal enterprise overturned Georgia's 2020 election results. The case stalled after a state appeals court disqualified her last year following revelations about her relationship with Nathan Wade, the married lawyer that she hired to lead the prosecution. The Georgia Supreme Court declined to hear Willis's appeal last week, leaving the case against Trump dormant, according to the outlet. Trump responded to the ruling on social media, calling Willis and others who brought the case against him criminals who will hopefully pay serious consequences for their illegal actions. All right. Shout out to Adidas. I don't know why I got an Adidas ad on here. I don't know that. Why? So anyway, this case is going, of course, is going to get picked up because now the DOJ wants them travel records. So she'll probably end up, she's probably going to fight the travel record. That's going to probably be what happens. And then, okay, she's going to probably fight that subpoena like she did last time, and we'll see what happens. But that's what's going on with Fani. Now, I'm going to get into, first of all, I want to say thank y'all to everybody who's jumped into the most electrifying chat on the planet. Thank you so much. Marshall says, yeah, it was 9. There were 10 criminals that escaped, convicts that escaped, and 9 were caught. Thank you so much. What's the future saying in there? I see a future in the building. Lots of good family. If I missed something, please don't hold it against me. I might have missed it. I apologize. Honestly, if Jason had not pronounced it, I would have assumed it was Danny. Oh, well, she made a big deal about it being Fani, like almost like it's spelled F-A-W-N, like fawn. They pronounce it like Fani. And I'm like, that's not how it's spelled, but I don't want to cause somebody to stumble because I mispronounce it. Fani, oh, this is a great point. Elizabeth is right there. This is very, very similar. There's a lot of similarities in this case. Fani sounds a lot like the New Orleans mayor. The whole boyfriend and money and sus behavior is similar. Oh, there's lots of similarities there. Shout out to Alton Johnson in the building. Excellent content creator rolling through, saying what's up to everybody. Grace and peace, all. Good to see you, Alton. Thank you so much, brother, for stopping through. Yeah, I'll say what's up to Alton. I see lots of good family reunion, lots of good conversation back and forth. I love the conversation back and forth. What does she say here? Thank you so much. She says, like, congratulations on the 50K. Recently subscribed to your videos and fun. I'm sorry. Recently subscribed and your videos are fun. And at the same time, keep discernment and truth as priority. Thank you so much for your efforts. God bless. Well, thank you so much as well, friend. Grace and peace to you. All right. Now, clearing the traps. 2 weeks ago, let's just have a little moment and talk about this. The year 2025 has been pretty brutal. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of stuff that's happened this year, and we still got 2 months left. And it's been pretty wild. And there's a lot of people say they're tired. A lot of people emotionally drained. I can totally understand. I can respect that. I respect hat tip. Recently, this summer, we had John MacArthur pass away. Just 2 weeks ago, we had Charlie Kirk pass away. And just this week, we had Dr. Voddie Baucham pass away. Now, it is very possible that you might not know who Voddie is, and that's okay. I'm going to make sure that changes in a few seconds. But Voddie and really has been essential, and the Lord used him mightily to help me, your host of this channel, not only change my theological viewpoints, but to see things much better. The Lord used Voddie significantly. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring on two friends of the channel. They were recently on the Jason Whitlock show, or on with Jason Whitlock, please forgive me, talking about their friendship with Dr. Baucham. And I thought they did an excellent job, a wonderful job of paying honor to this man. He was only 56. So he was not much older than me. So of course we have Virgil Walker, who's a pastor, Redeemer Bible Church in Arizona. And then of course we got Chad Jackson, excellent content creator down there in the bottom. And of course we know Mr. Jason Whitlock. He's not Jason Whitaker, but Jason Whitlock in the middle. So real quick, I just want to hear them explain or talk about their relationship with Voddie. And I got a quick sermon for you to check out as well. My babies just told me there's no sound. There is no sound, they told me. All right. I apologize about that. Do I have sound? Maybe I need to ask that question. Do I have sound? We can't hear you now either. What happened? All right. All right. You can hear me. Can you hear? Oh, man. They just been over here cooking. Okay. You can hear me. All right. So let's try this again. All right. I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to back it up just real quick. But you can't hear the video. Okay. Let's see if not, I'm going to have to do something different. I got two. Let me start this over again. All right. You're just reading the subs. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I should have been paying attention. Shout out to, all right, here. I'm going to drop this in there again. Let me know green hearts in the chat when you can hear. What's this not
writing stories about Voddie.
Come on.
And it's almost like they wanted.
I think
Voddie wasn't the stereotypical black minister. Wasn't a lot of emotion. Wasn't a lot. The noises that black ministers make and all. He was somewhat like a college professor. I look at John Hadley, and one of our producers kept pointing out this morning. It was like, hey man, there's the Griot, the Root, these black media sites. They're not even writing stories about Voddie passing. And it's almost like they wanted Chad to keep Voddie a secret.
You're absolutely spot on. I mean, Voddie been on CNN all of one time. and they told him we'll have you back, and they never had him back because because of how he was able to embarrass them just by leading into the Word of God. Quite frankly, when you look at Black pastors, typically what comes to mind are your Jamal Bryants, your TD Jakeses, your even Eric Masons. I know Eric Mason had beef with Dr. Voddie Baucham, even going so far as to, in one of his sermons, use kind of slave vernacular, basically accusing Voddie Baucham of making up words like ethnic Gnosticism to protect white supremacy. Just this utter nonsense.
Master, eyes ain't like the other Negroes. Master, eyes over his. We Master feeds us, Master clothes us. Cultural Marxism, ethnic Gnosticism, they making up words to come against the fact that racial injustice exists.
Again, Voddie Baucham was one of the few pastors that I know of to call out how these ideologies are infiltrating and subverting God's people and how we need to be made aware of them. The Bible says to test every spirit to see if it's of God. And that's what Voddie was doing from behind the pulpit. And he wasn't doing with all this hooping and hollering or anything like that. He was doing it in a very effective way. When you look at his cadence, when you look at his pacing, when you just listen to him, here was a man who was authoritative in what he was saying, and he was completely loyal to Christ. But when you look at a lot of those who came out against him, Eric went on to write a book called Woke Church, which in my opinion muddles the waters and kind of blurs the lines, if you will, between Marxism and Christianity. And we know that the truth has no companionship with darkness. But you have all these pastors who are trying to have it both ways. Whereas when you look at someone like a Voddie, he made no bones about the fact that he was a man after God. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise to me that the so-called Black church wanted nothing to do with Voddie. But the reality of it is we know that a good tree produces good fruit. When you look at the young men of all ethnicities across this country and frankly around the world who are better men because of the leadership of Dr. Voddie Baucham, this is reminiscent once again of a good tree that produced good fruit. And so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day how much the media ignores him, how much the so-called Black church ignores him. The fact is God sent him out and the word did not return to him void. He lived a life well done. And that's all I have to say about that.
Shout out to Chad. Chad is a friend of the channel as well. Shout out to him. I think he summarized it fantastic. But Jason, I don't know who this Dr. Baucham guy is that you're referring to. I've never heard him before. I've never had the opportunity. He looks like he might be somebody I want to check out. Do you have anything I can maybe peep out? Maybe I can get a gauge on what he's about. I'm glad that you asked. Absolutely. Let's bring this in. This is the last sermon. This is the last few minutes of the last sermon that Dr. Baucham preached on the 21st of September of this year. And I'll play another one as well, but I just want you to get an idea. This is the last few minutes of his last sermon. Shout out to Protestia, as I always say, a friend of the channel who brought great work, who's doing some great work over there on Twitter space and such like that. So let's keep it going.
We're buried with him in baptism and then raised to walk, not just the newness of life, but we're raised to walk in Christ. We are in Christ. Our baptism symbolizes that we are in Christ. Our life is hidden in Christ. We are seated with Christ in the heavenly places. The Spirit of God indwells us. And so when we talk about the church, we're not just talking about the bride of Christ. We're talking about the body of Christ. And it's beautiful because Paul alludes to this amazing one flesh union where two become one. And then from that union, there's life and generations come. And he says, that's when he says, this mystery is great. But I'm saying that it refers to Christ and the church. It's amazing that he calls a husband and wife to this wonderful union. But newsflash, we won't be married in heaven. The union between a husband and wife is a temporal picture, a temporal example of a greater spiritual reality. And that greater spiritual reality is our union and communion with Christ that will have no end. Be careful. Be careful how you talk about Christ's bride, because he is her head. He loves her. He's perfecting her, and he is one with her. You remember that the next time you say the church is or the church is not. Remember that. But also think about that when you consider your own spiritual condition. Are you a member of the body of Christ? Is Christ your head? Have you turned from trusting in yourself and being the Lord of your own life and fled to Christ? Have you repented of your sin and trusted the finished work of Christ to save you from your sin, and the finished work of Christ only, so that you can say he's your head, so that you can say he loves you because his death has been accrued to you because you came to him in repentance and faith? Can you say that he is perfecting you, that you've been justified and you've been adopted and now you're being sanctified and on your way to being glorified because of the work that Christ is doing in you through the washing of the water of the word? Can you say that? And can you say that you are united to Christ through faith? You see how different that is than just saying, I go to church or grew up in a Christian family? Is that you? Young man, young woman, boys, girls, is that you? Is that you? You have to go beyond your union with your family and your union with your church family to union and communion with Christ, so that you can say, he's your head, he loves you, he's perfecting you, and he's united to you because you've placed your faith in him and in him alone to redeem you and to save you. My prayer is that this is true of us, and that if it has not been true of you up to this point, that you would flee to Christ even now and be found in him. But for all of us, my prayer is that we'd be careful how we talk about Christ's bride. Let's pray.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last sermon that Dr. Voddie Baucham preached on last Sunday, the 21st. He passed away this past Wednesday. And I do believe that he heard, the first thing he heard when he opened his eyes in eternity, I believe, is well done, my good and faithful servant. All right, Jason. But what about, okay. So you kind of you got me interested in this whole Voddie Baucham fellow and the such like that, Jason. But what about, well, what is the gospel, Jason? You keep saying this thing. You mentioned earlier in your opening monologue that critical race theory was antithetical to the gospel. It doesn't work. There's no such thing as social gospel and all that kind of stuff. And now Voddie is saying flee to Christ and the such of that nature. What is the gospel, Jason? I'm glad you asked. Let's ask Dr. Baucham. Green hearts in the chat. You can hear.
When people say, no, our problem is this, our problem is that, we say, no. Our problem is that God created the world, and God created man, and he put man in the garden to keep the garden, and he gave the man a command, and he held that man to perfect, perpetual obedience to that command, and he promised him life if he kept it, and death if he didn't, and he didn't keep it. He ate. And because he ate, because of that one man, sin entered the world and death through sin. And everyone born from that man through ordinary generation inherited that man's sin nature. And because of that sin nature, sins proceed from it. And our world is broken because of that sin. And we stand guilty before a holy and righteous God. And we know that he's holy, and we know that he's righteous, and we crave justice. But the problem is that if God gives us justice, we all die. And so that God, in his goodness and in his mercy, sent forth his son, who was not born of ordinary generation, but was born of a virgin. Yes, the virgin birth matters. Why? Because if he's born of ordinary generation, he's born in sin. But because he's not born of ordinary generation, he's not born in sin. He's clean of sin. His record is clean. And he keeps his record clean. And he obeys God's law. And because he's fully God and fully man, he obeys the law of God on our behalf in his active obedience. And then in his passive obedience, God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us. All we like sheep had gone astray. Each of us had turned to his own way, but God laid upon him the iniquity of us all. And Christ died for sin once for all, the just for the unjust. And God imputes our sinfulness to him. And he nails our sinfulness to the tree. And Christ dies and raises again on the third day for our justification. And there's another imputation. The righteousness of Christ is actually imputed to us so that God can be both just and the justifier of the one who places faith in Jesus Christ, so that all those who come to Christ may enter in, so that all those who place faith in Christ might be saved, but not only saved, but sanctified, because he's the firstborn of many brethren. We're justified and we're adopted into the family of God, and we're sanctified. And as his children, we begin to bear the family resemblance, and we're further sanctified throughout this life by the very same gospel that saves us, until one day when it's all said and done, we're not just saved from the penalty of sin. We're not just saved from the power of sin, but one day we're glorified and saved from the very presence of sin. That's the gospel that we preach. That's the gospel that we need. And that's the gospel that's more than enough.
I could honestly play Dr. Baucham all day. I could literally play him. If you go back and I actually I was looking through my channel. He is one of the most repeated videos on my channel. I think more, maybe not more now, but back then, if you just type in Voddie Baucham on my channel, there's literally a metric ton of his sermons, shorts, and everything like that. And I find them extremely refreshing. And you know what? I've decided that I am going to pick just one more fight because I'm getting ready to pick a pretty nice, I'm about to punt a beehive through some uprights in a second. But I just want to point out one of the reasons why people, when I started this channel, a lot of people did not like and don't like the fact that I said that, racial reconciliation is not what we need to be looking after. What we need to be looking after is reconciliation with God. A lot of people don't like that, and that's okay. You can be wrong. It's okay. You'll be all right. But Dr. Baucham, I'm gonna let him tease this one out. This might be the last. It could be the second to last. It might be never the last. But I want to point out what we need to be pursuing above racial reconciliation, and I'm going to have Dr. Baucham explain it to us here real quick. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
If God can reconcile those who have real and God-ordained distinctions between them, he can certainly reconcile people who have arbitrary and artificial differences and distinctions between them. Right. And look at this, verse 12. Remember that you were at that time separated from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, strangers to the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. It's not just that the Gentiles were outsiders related to another ethnic group. It's not just that Gentiles were separated from the cultural hegemony, if you will. It's not just that there were systems that were oppressing them. It's not just that they didn't have access to wealth. It was, you are alienated from God and from Christ. This is real. This is significant. And this is not to make light of anyone else's experience of alienation or separation. But nothing compares to this. Having no hope and without God in the world. What compares to that? Sitting in the back of the bus? No. Lynching? No. Having no hope and being without God in the world is worse than slavery. Slavery is bad news. Amen? This is more significant than that. Now we can look at verse 13. But now. Who's Pentecostals? We take a praise break right here, right? But now. When news is so bad, it doesn't really matter what comes after the but now, because it's got to be better than what was before it. Amen? But now, in Christ Jesus, you who once were far off have been brought near by the blood of Christ. Make no mistake about it. This language is clear. This is temple language. As we go through this, it's clear that this is temple language. And it's clear that what we're dealing with here is the whole idea of, here's the Holy of Holies. And the Holy of Holies, the high priest, one day a year gets to go into the Holy of Holies. And only the high priest gets to go in there. And then there's the court where the priests do their work, and only the priests get to do their work there. And then there's the court of the Jews, and Jewish men get to go there. And then there's the women who would get to go here, and then further and further and further back, you would have Gentile proselytes who could come, but could only get so close. But now, through the blood of Christ, you who were way back there have been brought near. You've been reconciled. You've been reconciled. And how? How? Through reading the right sociology books? How? Through feeling sorry enough about what your ancestors did to someone else's ancestors? How? By having enough of your grievances addressed? No, the blood of Christ. Christ died to reconcile us to himself and to one another. The blood of Christ. The blood of Christ. Don't you dare add anything to this. The blood of Christ is sufficient to reconcile us. It's enough. It's enough. The blood of Christ is enough. And it's the only thing that can reconcile us. This is why looking for reconciliation through other means is futile. It's futile. It cannot be achieved. Not only is it futile, it's blasphemous. Because it becomes the blood of Christ and for he himself is our peace, who has made us both one and has broken down in his flesh the dividing wall of hostility by abolishing the law of commands expressed in ordinances, that he might create in himself one new man in the place of two, so making peace, and might reconcile us both to God in one body through the cross, thereby killing the hostility. There's so much here, and at time.
Okay. Grace and peace, everybody. That was I want to say a friend of the channel, Dr. Voddie Baucham, who passed away this past week. And I can't listen to that sermon enough. I really can't. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging in. I'll try to drop the link for that one. Matter of fact, let me just do that now so I won't be a liar. It's a wonderful sermon. And one of the ones that I listen to quite often when I started this journey,
Chapter 2.
when I started my journey of discussing race topics on this channel, Dr. Baucham was one of the first that I listened to. And I thank God for him. So he passed away at age 56 this past Wednesday, and just wanted to give him his flowers. I wish I had another opportunity. I met him back in 2023 here in Atlanta, and I wish I had another opportunity and met him and had another conversation with him. But it is what it is. It's how it's all fit. So shout out. All right. I do want to say thank you so much. I see one of my good friends, AV to the 7th power in the building. Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. And thank you so much for following through. Thank you so much. I do also want to say thank you so much to Violet earlier. Thank you so much for the $5 super. I really appreciate it, Violet. Thank you so much. Berean Babes podcast. I really appreciate you. And I thank all of y'all who jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I will make sure I put it in the description as well. Thank you so much, Amethyst Angel. Thank you for reminding me. I will make sure I do that right now. I just want to say thank you so much. Let me do it right now. So stop being a fibber. All right. I just dropped it so I don't forget it. I'll go back through and edit it. But thank y'all again for that. That was it means a lot. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I can't edit this. Sorry about that. Oh, crackers. I'll do it afterwards. Lou, thank you so much, Lou Chikune from Seek Things Above TV with the $10. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. All right. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, so I'm perfectly okay with that. This one right here is going to be a little bit dicey because I know there's some people on my channel. You know, shout out to every one of you, all 50,000 of you all. I really appreciate you all. There are people on my channel who like this particular person, and that's perfectly fine. I've brought in a couple videos that I found him talking on and whatnot. I've mentioned that I have lots of issues with his ideology and such like that. But I just want to bring in 2 passages of scripture, maybe 3 passages of scripture. And then we're going to look at a video that I'm going to kick this right through the uprights tonight. So prepare yourselves. All right, very quickly. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 19. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate yourself with a simple babbler. Okay, Jason. All right. Where are you going with that? We're going to also jump over here to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. And then I'm going to get very quickly, because I did not plan to, but I'm going to bring in a passage that many people know. It's called Ephesians chapter 13. Most people hear this passage talking about love. And I'm going to just real quick, I just want to read through this real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and cue up this video and kick it through the upright. So here it comes right here. Love is patient. Love does not envy or boast. It's not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. All right, Jason, where in the world are you going there? All right, Jason, I see what you're saying. You got something. You said something about lying tongues and somebody that's the 7 things that the Lord hates. Well, what are we going to talk about, Jason? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you asked. We're going to look at this video. We're going to look at this video by Nick Fuentes. And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, this right here is some unadulterated, grade A, homegrown, stir-fried foolishness. Nick Fuentes is going to propose an idea about the widow Erica Kirk that cannot be founded. It cannot be disproven. It can't be proven. It is just here to outright throw mud on somebody. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about in a second, and the problem is, I don't believe that Nick Fuentes is a Christian, and he's not associated with people. And he's mentioned this before, because the video that I dropped earlier, lots of people commented about it. He doesn't have friends around him. So I dare say that the vast majority of his interaction with human beings is through a monitor and a camera. And he doesn't actually have real people that love him, care enough for him, and are around him enough to tell him that he's wrong, and tell him that what he's saying is out of pocket, and tell him that what he's doing goes against the God that he alleges that he cares about, the God that allegedly saved him from his sin. So we're going to look at this real quick, and I'm just going to show you in 4K the outright ridiculousness that is this idea that Nick Fuentes pushes. And feel free to share, whatever like that. My name is Jason, dearwokeC@gmail.com. It won't change one thing, because this is evil, what we're about to watch. Now, set the stage, context. I believe there are certain people that once Charlie Kirk passed away, thought that they would rise to prominence post Charlie Kirk. They thought that they would get into the proverbial captain seat. And the reason they did is because they themselves don't have actual churches that they're a part of. Yes, I'm looking at you, Candace. Yes, I'm looking at you, Nick. Y'all are not members of actual churches. You're not a part of a body of believers who actually will call you on the carpet. Y'all know I'm a member of a church. I'm a churchman. And I'm proud to say that though I enjoy doing what I do here, and all 50,000 subscribers of you all have been a blessing to me, I have a church that I'm ultimately responsible for. And I have a pastor that can call me at any time. But these people don't have that. So they actually get what they should be getting from church. They get it from a screen and a camera. And so I do believe that Nick Fuentes thinks and thought that he would be elevated to prominence. I think the same thing about Candace, that she thought that she would get elevated to significance and prominence with the passing of Charlie Kirk. Both of them sat there and watched Erica Kirk move into position, become CEO of Turning Point USA, and they're both upset about it. They both are extremely perturbed, shall we say. And I want you to listen to what he's going to say about Erica. I'm just like, this has got to be, if you rock with Charlie, if you rock with Nick Fuentes, you're going to have to explain this. You got to explain this to me before you jump into the comment section and tell me whatever you want to say about me and think whatever you want to think about me, which, by the way, I don't care. But before you do any of that, you got to explain to me what we're about to see and tell me that this is the right behavior for a man who says that he's a Christian, allegedly, to behave toward another woman who is a Christian. You tell me that this behavior makes sense to you. That's what I want to see. So with no further ado, Jason, why don't you go ahead and play it? Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go.
You know, the thing about Erica Kirk is I 100% believe that that's an arranged marriage. Charlie and Erica, I do not believe for 1 second that they met organically. How do you think they met each other? Do you think that they bumped into each other at CPAC and Charlie said, hey, let's go on a date? No, they were set up together by somebody. Who set them up? Charlie, I'm sure, he's super ambitious, super powerful, running this organization. They told him, you need a wife. I'm sure he wants a wife. They told
Who, see, again, you know what? If you're a Nick Fuentes supporter, come on up here to the front of the church. Come on up here. Come on, man, make some room for him up in the front of the church, y'all. Come on up here. How in the world does somebody prove this? That they said you need a wife. Who is they, for crying out loud? Who is the they, Nick? If you're one of the Nick Fuentes supporters, you got to ask him this. Like, well, who is it? Who is it? The little Nickanites, the little Nicklets, whatever you want to call yourselves. Ask him, who is the they that's putting this all together? Because he never does say it. It's just this crazy cabal. Why would you do that? Why would you do that if you allege to be a Christian, Nick? Because scripture clearly says, and pointed out here, I just pointed out the 7 things that God hates. And one of them, a lot of them are people who sow discord, that lie, that rush to shed innocent blood. Sir, you're almost hitting every last one of them. What, are you speed running? But let him finish, Jason. Let him go.
them you need a wife. If you want to run for office, you need a wife and kids, you need a family. They're grooming him to be super powerful.
Who is they?
So he's hanging out at Bohemian Grove, and they say, we need to give you a wife. We know somebody. We know this girl, and she's in some, how do they know her? Who set them up, and where did this girl come from that's going to be Charlie Kirk's wife and bear his children? I think that was an arranged marriage. And that tells me that she is tapped into some kind of network in some way. I don't know how.
But you don't even know what you're saying, though. You don't even know what you're saying that it is true. That you just said, I believe it's an arranged marriage. And you just said that as if that were a true statement. And sir, you have no bearing that it is true. I just want to bring this back in because some people might have forgot. When there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans. feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness that breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among the brothers. I think at this point, we need to ask ourselves, which one of these is Nick Fuentes not
Talk
doing?
about she was a pageant girl and she ran this charity. Maybe there's a connection there. I would not be surprised at all. That, if you're talking about Erica Kirk, that I believe. People say Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Let's look at the marriage. Erica Kirk is now taking over Turning Point. That's suspicious as fuck. Because what we are being led to believe is that Erica Kirk is the archetypal trad girl. Isn't that the perception they're cultivating? When you look at some of these clips, she's supposed to be the ultimate trad wife. She's speaking at the Young Women's Leadership Summit. She's on podcasts saying, oh my gosh, I can't focus because I'm so in love with Charlie. If he's here, I can't focus. I'm so smitten. Like, that's the character that she's playing. That's the character that they're selling us. Her husband gets shot in the neck graphically in front of everybody. Shouldn't Miss Tradwife, shouldn't she be like despondent? And I'm not trying to judge how people grieve.
But you are. You're doing exactly that. You just said it. I know it seems like you don't expect people to actually pay attention to what you're saying, Nick, but you just said it. You just literally said, shouldn't she be despondent? I'm not trying to tell her how to grieve. You just told her how to grieve. This doesn't make any, and this is evil. I'm just going to say this right now. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. This is evil wickedness because he's sowing an idea. Because, I mean, he's tacitly saying that Erica Kirk is involved with the deletion of her husband. He's saying that he's doing the Candaspiracy, the kind of floating out an idea, not saying it directly, but putting enough out there for you to come to that conclusion and say, oh, I didn't tell you to say that. This is evil, man. This is evil. Like, just because you don't know how he met his wife, what does that mean? I don't know how anybody on this live chat met their wives. Y'all don't know how I met my wife. The joke is my kids don't know how I met my wife. And we keep telling them a different story all the time. We've concocted these crazy stories about how we met. I hope y'all never ask them. They'll tell you some crazy stuff. They met on the dark side of the moon. But sir, why are you, who cares if you don't know? Nick? But see, this is what I mean. Because Nick is not involved in a church community where he has people around him, friends and mentors, disciples and teachers around him to walk along with him, he has to be a part of this online digital community. He needs digital community, and he's going to fight and scream and scrape and all that kind of stuff. Look, I respect Turning Point USA. I don't worship Turning Point USA. I'm not going to lose any sleep because Erica Kirk is the CEO of Turning Point. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. If they had selected somebody else, I wouldn't have lost any sleep either. Because I have a church community that I can be a part of that is I'm ultimately responsible to. This man doesn't have that. And this is why he's fighting, scrambling, scraping. The exact same thing is true about Candace.
It's not our position to judge how they grieve or what their response is. Maybe she's just got unbelievable resolve. But if she really is the ultimate trad wife who knows her place and is a helper to her husband, a helpmate, and she's so smitten with him and she's the perfect trad wife like how she's been presented to us for years, then when her husband gets shot in the neck and blood starts spurting everywhere in front of everybody who starts screaming and running away, shouldn't she be like in shock? Shouldn't she be like in a catatonic state or crying and be in a veil as a widow somewhere?
Did he just say that he's not going to tell somebody how to grieve? Did he just say he's not going to tell somebody to grieve? No, let's keep in mind. This dude is like 26, 27, no piece of being married, no kids, no prospects. Sir, you don't have a clue what that woman is dealing with. You have no idea. So sit yourself an armchair quarterback right there and be quiet. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com.
But that's not what we got at all. The second he dies, she takes over Turning Point.
Is that true? Was that true? The second that Charlie passed away, she took over Turning Point. So she was CEO of Turning Point on Wednesday afternoon, right? No, that's just ignorant what you're saying on his face. But why are you even saying it? Is my question. Why are you even throwing out this proposition? Because again, he's tacitly saying that Erica Kurt is responsible for her husband's death. Listen to it.
That happened like 2 days later. She's all of a sudden the president of this $500 million organization. Super influential, now super powerful after Charlie became a martyr, and she's given speeches. She's given a speech, and the speech, I'm sorry, it's totally canned. The first speech she gave next to his empty chair, she's like doing this weird affect, wiping away tears that aren't there with this scripted speech, you know, the battle cry of this widow, the cries of this widow will echo like a... And then at the WWE Memorial, she comes out to fireworks and she does this like she's Mary in her white suit, her makeup, her hair did. And she goes out with fireworks at her husband's funeral like this. She posed. Did you see that? And then she goes up and says, yeah, I'm running Turning Point now, and this is how... It's giving me like Claire Underwood vibes. I think that was an arranged marriage, and either she was like a handler or she was... she had political ambitions of her own. But yeah, I don't know. Look, who is Erica Kirk now? This is a person that is being foisted on us. And... look, don't get me wrong. You lost your husband. I am deeply sorry for you. I really am. I'm praying for you. I am deeply sorry for you. I can't imagine what you're going through.
Then
but
why are you talking?
Becoming president of Turning Point and now being foisted upon us, that's an altogether different story.
Notice what he's saying. Foisted upon us, as if, again, as if Turning Point is your community, your people, your tribe, the place that you're associated with. Turning Point is a parachurch ministry at best. It's a political ministry even more, a political entity more. That's not a church. He's using church language. He's talking as if this is a church. I just want y'all to hear it. You let me know if I'm going crazy. Foisted upon us? Like, wait, we don't, what do you mean?
You know, it's like I said on Monday, and Alex Jones didn't like this. He said it was mean. A lot of people didn't like it. You want our sympathy? You got it. You want our prayers? You got it. People would, you know, walk over broken glass for this widow who can even sympathize, who can even understand what she's going through right now. But they're asking us to accept her as like this new leader. They're foisting her on us as a political leader. And that I don't like. I don't like that because that's manipulative.
You do realize that you don't have to be a part of it though, right? I'm not trying to be funny because that's what I don't like. Nobody cares what you don't like. Nick, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody. If you care in the chat, let me know if you care. Nobody cares. Nobody. And so this, to sit here and to drag this widow and to think that you hold a moral high ground, sir, go kick rocks. All the rocks between here and Pluto, kick them all. That's ignorance, sir. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what I think. And I'm not a member of Turning Point's not my church. I mean, what do you expect from them? That's why I brought up the point that this is what happens when you're not associated with a body of believers and you have now put all of your faith and all of your hope, all of your trust in this particular entity. I can take it or leave it. Nick, he cannot. And we're seeing this in 4K.
That is predatory. She's the widow. Who can criticize her? She's a widow. Who could ever say anything negative about her? They're exploiting that.
No, you're doing it. No, sir, but you're doing it falsely. You're doing it. You've sat there and said that she's a handler, that she was a plant, that they had an arranged marriage. You're tacitly, again, insinuating that she's a part of the deletion of her husband. See, that's false. That's lying. And that's what I'm saying. Like, devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, one who sows discord among brothers. Nick, that's you, my friend. You're speed running through that, collecting those things like Sonic the Hedgehog, collecting gold rings. My guy.
They're exploiting that. She's untouchable. She's beyond reproach. She's the victim of the tragedy. It's like when a victim of a school shooting starts running an anti-gun nonprofit. You know, it's like March for Our Lives, because who could criticize a kid that almost got killed in a school shooting? You know, it's giving me vibes. I don't like that. I don't like when some victim of some atrocity is then presented as a political figure, because it's like, okay, who the f are you? You're the victim of some tragedy? That sounds like a really shitty thing to say, but it's like, how do I know you're not being controlled by somebody?
How do we know that you're not being controlled by somebody, Nick? How would somebody even prove to you that they're not being controlled by somebody? That's what I'm saying. Like these conspiracies, they're just gossip at some point. They're just adult gossip. That's all they are. They're gossip with a tinfoil hat. That's all they are. Because Nick, we could say the exact same thing about you. You are being paid for. You are being controlled by somebody. You are an industry plant. You were put in. You have an arranged podcast. Who's funding your podcast? We could do the exact same thing and cast all the same disparages on you. This is evil. This is evil in 4K.
Because quite honestly, we knew who Charlie Kirk was and he built the organization. We have no idea who you are. What makes you qualified to run Turning Point? Because your husband got killed? What makes you qualified? We don't know anything about you. We don't know where you came from. We don't know anything about you. For all we know, you are working for some other person, or now the board is going to run it. Now some shadowy force is going to run Turning Point through you, or you represent. We don't know. We don't know who you are.
We don't know who you are. Some shadowy force could be controlling you, Nick. You've said that you've been debanked and all this kind of stuff like that. How do you afford those clothes, Nick? If you're saying that you've been deplatformed and debanked and all that kind of stuff, how are you affording to be able to turn your lights on? Then there must be some kind of shadow organization that's paying your bills. Some shadow sugar daddy that's taking care of you, Nick. The exact same thing can be said. I don't know where Nick Fuentes came from. You just popped up on the scene. How do I know that you weren't an industry plant? This is the exact same thing. But you and even worse than that, guess what? Turning Point isn't related to you. Why do you even care? Why? It won't stop you from doing the stuff that you do. When Charlie was running Turning Point, you were still doing what Nick does. Why do you care now that Erica's there? Oh, that's right, because you wanted to be there. My bad.
But no one can say that because she's a widow, and that I don't like. Because this is a high-profile killing. It is forcing people to ask a lot of questions. And this is the one aspect of it that we're not allowed to ask questions about because it's in bad taste. Well, you know what? This is politics. If you want to speak at the funeral, no one's going to question that. But you seize control of the organization right away, I'm seizing the reins. And no one dare question me because I'm a widow. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. And it doesn't really track. Like I said, if you watch any of the clips, it's just like downright insulting. The way that she's presented as like a trad wife. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be, but if you're the ultimate trad wife, shouldn't you be a little bit more torn up about this? I know I sound like an ass. Where's the tears?
I'm glad that you recognize that. I am very glad that you recognize that you sound like a void surrounded by a sphincter muscle, because Nick, that is the worst thing that you could say, But see, if you go back and watch the video where he talks about not being married, after you see this and you watch the video where him and Candace talked about it, you will see exactly what I believe I saw is a man that is immature and unserious about life. Unserious. Remember, he was calling wives like your roommates and your kids roommates and such like that. And he wanted to be selfish and so on and so forth. You'll see it differently. If you go back and watch that video, you'll see it differently.
Really? You're a trad wife? You're a helpmate. You're smitten. You're so in love, blah, blah, blah. Your husband got publicly executed in front of all of his adoring fans 3 days ago. You're giving a speech today, taking control of Turning Point, vowing like that we're going to make Turning Point bigger than ever. Is that typical trad wife behavior? Who is this person exactly?
You know what would help Nick? You know what? In the chat, hold on. In the chat, we're going to do a little group activity. One word. What could help Nick understand what a trad wife behavior would be like? What would be the word that you would put in there? One word that would help him know what it's like. Reading is wild. I would say getting married. Being married will change your whole perspective on all this what should be going on type of stuff. Determination is wild. What is that, a punch? I personally believe, to sit here and be 26, 27 years old, talking about what a wife should be doing, and he himself doesn't even have a girlfriend. Sir, that's just nasty work, sir. That's just nasty work. It just doesn't work like that, man. You need to have a family around you. You need to have a wife around you. And I promise you, it will change your whole perspective. All that foolishness that you're talking, you'll realize, they can be heartbroken and not a tear come out their face. They can, all that stuff makes sense. Once you get married and you have to live with this woman and you have to work it out and tough it out through ups and downs, goods and bads, lefts and rights, then you'll say, oh, I understand it now. That's why God gave us wives. That's why God gave y'all husbands. But Nick, you busy over here armchair husbanding, and you don't even make sense. You sound ridiculous.
Who is this? No one knows.
Jesus would be good too.
Listen, and I know I don't really buy a lot of the Israel conspiracies. That is something I'm very interested in. Erica Kirk is someone I'm very interested in.
Well, hold on, mate. You might want to make sure you clarify that, sir, because you're single and she's technically single now too. So let's not be too flippant with our words.
When people talk about energy weapons and decoy shooters and trap doors, you lose me. When you talk about the person that succeeds Charlie Kirk, that's relevant.
Erica Kirk, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. It's surreal to actually be sitting because last time I was standing, but
yeah,
I don't know. Just to sit. It's a little more emotional.
Yeah. Well, you are rightly at the head of the table, and we're just so honored to have you here. I know that you have been, to say that your life has been a whirlwind would be the understatement of the century, and to make time for Charlie's audience and to speak to them, I know that they can't wait to hear from you, and just to see you in this room probably means a lot to them. And you've been up against so much, and you've been doing an incredible, incredible job. The number of messages I've heard just complimenting you and your dignity and your poise and your strength has been overwhelming. And we're just so glad you're here.
No, I'm grateful. I mean, I know we talked about this. We prayed on it. We really tried to discern properly how to go about the next few stages and steps of everything. And we've been very intentional in a way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams alive and his legacy going. And what's so beautiful is to see all of you step in and do that. And so part of the reason why I agreed to come on, because this is not going to be a forever thing of me being on hosting the show, was because I gave assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of. I mean, it's beautiful, and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, so powerful. all of the other programs within Turning Point USA. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone has their marching orders. And the show, when we talked about this, became very intimate for me because I was there from the beginning of all of it. And I'll never forget 2020 when literally the world stood still. And Charlie and I would go hiking every morning. And we would just talk about what life, the crazy things going on. And we came home from one of our hikes that season. And my mom pulled him aside in the kitchen and she goes, honey, they had a very good relationship. My mom and Charlie were best friends. We joked around that. I know. We joked around that he was the favorite child. But she loved him, still loves him. And she said, you know what, honey? She said, God has blessed you with an amazing voice. And you will be the Rush Limbaugh of your generation. And 2 days later, you and him engaged in conversations about the show and about the podcast.
Well, it was, hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting. Like it just, and he ran with that and the team ran with it. And to see the Charlie Kirk show grow from that moment until now has been so humbling and beautiful. And he loved every single day. He read every email. Yeah. I know you guys have said that so many times, but I can vouch for that because there were times where he would forward me some of the emails that he would get and he wouldn't even say anything. He would just forward the email. And to me, it was almost like an extended form of family where you guys were the pulse point of, and the connection point of Turning Point USA, TP Action, the Charlie Kirk Show. It was a triple threat. And the audience was the master and main component of that because Charlie and the Charlie Kirk Show is not just a show. It has a movement attached to it. It has the youth movement attached to it. And so for Charlie, the audience was a barometer of what do we need to be focusing on? The audience is brilliant. How many times did a listener send in something and say, hey, this is going on. You need to dig deeper in this or check this out. And Charlie's show became, and still is, and I'm going to get there in a second, but Charlie's show became the North Star for freedom of speech, but in a way where when he spoke and whatever came across his desk or whatever he put on the air was right. It wasn't inflated. It wasn't awkwardly optimistic that had no leverage behind it. It was the gold standard. It was
grounded in the
extremely grounded
wisdom of the audience.
But not only that, he had a team, still does, all of you, that was the sounding board of that. And collectively, each one of you are a piece of his brain. I know we've talked about this. Blake, economics, foreign policy. Andrew, pretty much a lot of stuff. Mikey, humor, Christianity, sports, youth social, pop culture was Daisy. Like everyone has a piece of his brain that still lives on. And so what I'm getting at here is the Charlie Kirk Show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on. The show will go on. We will have rotating hosts, rotating casts, rotating people coming
We've got
on.
Some great people next week.
Unbelievable. We will have consistency. The members only group will continue to go on. All of his socials that God has blessed us with, the people who follow those socials will go on. Nothing is changing. But I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Cringy.
We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off. That's not what's happening. What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us. And it is going to be continually the North Star of the conservative movement, of the voice of the youth, of the voice of the base, and that will not end. And the members only will continue to grow, and that will be the tight-knit network of family members that supported and loved Charlie and the team. And that's what it is. It's a family and a team. And this is not going anywhere. It's just not. We need to be able to have people have a show where they can ask questions. Hey, I'm up against this. What would Charlie say? And we play a clip of what Charlie said a month ago, a year ago. We have decades worth of my husband's voice. We have unused material from speeches that he's had that no one has heard yet. We have Sunday specials lined up to the brim because my husband was so intentional about making sure that there was enough content. Always.
He made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speeches that no one's heard of. We have interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
I am so excited. Yeah. And so,
by the way, those are things Charlie himself
that he wanted.
We were working on some big things right up until the end. And, we've talked about that a lot. Like a lot of the guiding vision that we're using right now to kind of steady the ship and figure out where we're going is the things Charlie himself
100%.
told us where we were going.
100%. And similar with Turning Point USA, Charlie had a plan moving past 2030 that he has shared with the team and has implemented. So we're not going anywhere.
We have the blueprints.
We have the blueprints. We have our marching orders, and we are just remaining humble and grateful to God, and remaining just stewards to what God has blessed us with. And I know Charlie is going to continue to guide us, and the Lord will continue to guide us. And I just wanted to let everyone know that this is far beyond any of us sitting in these chairs. This has nothing to do with us. It never will. The glory all to God on that front. And I just am excited. It's weird to say excited, but it's also very surreal to say it, because I know that God will use all of this in a way that will glorify him, further Charlie's legacy. And Charlie's up in heaven just having...
He's rooting us on. I know that.
He's so rooting us on.
Yeah.
And
I know. I want to ask you just a little bit about, because this is something we wrestled with, the social accounts. And I'll never forget when you looked at me and you were like, Andrew, he cared so much about building those up. I'm not letting those die. And I just remember being like, yes, thank you. I needed to hear that, because it is a little awkward. Now we're not going to use it for random stuff, but for very specific things.
For his voice, for things he cared about, for movements he cared about, for causes he cared about, those socials, and also too to support Turning Point USA, to be the barometer of what's going on, to be the pulse point. Again, we're not going to be posting, I went for a walk today. No, we are using his socials in a way that will continue to honor his legacy. He poured so much time into building those, not from a vain or vanity standpoint or look at me. That's never why he built those. That he built those because he knew that being a voice for the Lord and being a voice for everything that is good and beautiful in this world, and also, yes, the youth, he used that as the North Star, and we will continue that. And it'll be done tastefully, it will be done appropriately, and I'm excited for all of it, because we have a good team.
You have every right to be.
We have
After
a good
everything
team.
that you've been through, what the team has been through, to see, it's like, I keep saying, Charlie's almost sprinkling his little Charlie Kirk magic dust on everything, and I mean that in a very Christian sense, that Charlie lived such a remarkable life, and his mission was so big that in death you cannot contain it. It unleashes something even greater, and it's on us. And Charlie would look at us and expect us to do the right things here. And I would say, look at the memorial.
I know.
The memorial is the proof point that the team that Charlie put together can do the impossible, and God's blessing was on that. So there were so many prayers, and I know you feel the prayers, because I feel them. If I feel them, you must be feeling them like 100x.
I feel them. All of them matter, and we will never be silenced.
Amen.
We will never be silenced. And that's why continuing his platform in a beautiful, honorable way will reinforce that we will never be silenced.
So we have gotten so many questions about these little toys, the puppets, and what they are.
Figurines.
We, of course, know what they are, but why don't you tell the audience what they are?
Every day when Charlie would go into the office, he would see our daughter, and she would just be playing, and she would look at him. She watched the show every day. She couldn't email, but this was her version of emailing. Every day she'd watch the show. And she did it because Daddy would take the item that she gave to him and have it on the show with him. And sometimes he would say, like, this is the item that my daughter gave me. Sometimes he wouldn't, just to see if she was really watching. And so when he would come home, she would be like, Daddy, I saw the puppet on the show today. Daddy, I saw the moose on the show today. Daddy, you brought baby Buff on the show today? So that was their little connection point of, and he loved it too, because it was a little piece of her that he could have with her on the show. But those little moments of
and I loved it
connection.
too, because Charlie was known for so many things, and I think people just love seeing that side of him.
It humanizes him. And he's a father. He's unbelievable husband, but father, and loved his babies, and he wasn't embarrassed by that.
He was so proud of it.
Yeah, if Gigi made him something, or if she puts a sticker on his shirt or a sticker on his face, or gave him a figurine to bring to work, he did it, and he loved it. He didn't care what other people thought.
No,
You
he
know?
loved. He didn't. I don't think it even occurred to him to think about what somebody else thought
never.
about that. So we talked about kind of some of the things we wanted to just say in this last segment, and I really believe, and you knew this so well, of how much this audience meant to him. And I said this actually in my speech at the memorial, that you in the audience were his firewall, because you gave him so much confidence when he would go in these fancy rooms and with these fancy people and these elites, and they would say, well, this is the way it is, this is the way. He knew they were wrong because of you in the audience. And you always would send him freedom@charliekirk.com. And we want to commit to you right here and now on this show, and you're going to be part of this.
100%.
That we are going to read all of the emails just as we have always done that you
All of
send to
them.
freedom@charliekirk.com. It might be ruled by committee. It might be sort of, I get to some of them, Mikey gets to some of them, Eric gets
But
to
they
some,
will be read.
But they will be read.
We'll get to it.
We will
All
get
of
to
them.
it. All of them.
And you guys were so
Oh,
important to us. And we were talking about this in donor meetings, in private meetings, even at the White House. When people would be wrong about something, he would triple, double down, and he would say to them, no, you don't understand. You are wrong about this. I'm in touch with my audience. I read their emails every day.
Yeah, so proud
they
of it.
don't like what you are doing. Fix it.
Yeah.
And so
He's
we're going
very
to do
proud
that.
of
We're committed to
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
He's very proud of that.
And I just also want to say thank you to the audience, because in
Yes.
the days immediately after, I mean, we looked at each other a couple of times going like, what are we going to do here? And so many of you guys signed up to become members, members.charliekirk.com. So many of you bought the t-shirts at charliekirkstore.com, that you gave us this breathing room in this really hard time. And it was like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we've got a show. We don't know any, but we committed to the staff. We're going to keep you. We're going to keep you. And you committed to them
I
very
did.
clearly. Maybe say something.
I said, you're not going anywhere. You can choose to leave. Any of you can choose to leave, but you are a part of the Charlie Kirk family, Charlie Kirk Show family, and we need you. Each one of you serves a purpose and a role. And again, if the enemy tries to come in and divide, you'll be able to see that very clearly, but we will all remain a united front, and the show will continue.
I mean, a little behind the scenes here. Erica did that speech where I'm standing right now on the podium, somehow got through that, her national address. Then she walks out there to where all of our staff are, and she then goes on to do another speech to all the staff, telling them, you're not going anywhere. We're keeping the lights on. We're doing everything. I mean, watching that, I was blown away.
I think we were all inspired. We
Back to
knew
back.
that Charlie chose well, Erica.
Yeah.
And you chose well.
Yeah.
You both
Yeah.
chose well.
That is
And
good.
the world is seeing your love affair in a new way. So
Yeah.
final seconds to you.
I just am very proud of all of you. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the audience. And I'm really looking forward to how this show is going to continue to be blessed and continue to be a voice for all of Charlie's causes and continue to just empower and enhance the legacy of my husband. And I'm just so grateful.
All right. I wanted to end with that because I wanted to contrast the foolishness that was being spouted by Nick. And we could see this woman was dialed in. She wasn't just an absentee wife and you just go do whatever. She was involved in it. So they made the right decision by selecting Erica Kirk to be the CEO and CEO of Turning Point. She seems like she has her head on shoulders correctly, and she's going to lead them into some great, prosperous waters. So shout out to her for sure. Shout out to my boy, Rob, in the building, the Cheerwine guy. I hope Turning Point continues. I agree with you 100%. Lots of good family reunion in the chat for sure. Yeah, he's absolutely thirsty for attention, using this tragic situation for his benefit by making despicable claims. Sounds kind of like Candaspiracy. Absolutely. Candace is going to do a messy show tomorrow. Yep. You know what? There's a high probability I might start live streaming her show and just dissecting it in real time. I might just start doing it. All right. Oh, listen to that. It said Charlie chose her. Right. Absolutely. No arranged marriage going on there. What does Honey Bun say? Smiling and putting on a brave face. Oh, how evil. How conspiratorial. See, when you're looking for it all the time, they're looking for it, man, for sure. But I thought that would be fun. All right, we are going to do something a little bit. We're going to be a little bit off task here. So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for jumping in. Thank you so much for celebrating 50,000 subscribers with me. You all made it happen. So I want to say thank you again. And what I'm doing tonight is I'm just clearing the traps. I had a lot of videos I wanted to get out, articles I wanted to read, and so on and so forth. I just thought it would be really fun to kind of go over them with you all. But this is so weird. And I put this out on my Discord, my members only Discord yesterday. And people are like, is this for real? Real quick, let me bring this in. Let's go back in time. Ice Cube, the rapper, he condemns those LA ICE raids in a new radio interview. And this was on August 10th, 2025. He was, he had something to say. Ice Cube is in LA. He got something to say about these ICE raids, right? He don't approve of them. He don't agree with them, right? I'm just going to real quick blaze through this very quickly. Since the 80s, Ice Cube's music has always preached progression in the Black community with a harsh reality raps. Ice Cube criticized federal immigration authorities this week for accusing them of employing aggressive. He accused them of employing aggressive during recent LA raids. In an interview on Real 92.3, The Crew Show, the entertainer condemned U.S. immigration and customs enforcement for what he described as heavy-handed operations that have targeted schools. Okay, I'm not going to even read the whole thing because we kind of get the vibe, right? We kind of get it. Ice Cube is not rocking with the ICE raids. He's not for it. And you might not. Maybe you disagree with him. That's okay. I'm not going to besmirch anybody for where they land on it. All I want to do is just point out the comedy of what we're about to look at. So remember, Ice Cube, okay? Ice Cube. His name is Ice Cube. Well, guess what? Ice Cube, the fire damages Ice Cube's tour bus in Portland, spokesperson said. His bus was assaulted because the protesters heard the word ICE in the name and attacked the bus. I really wish I was making this up. Let's go.
Portland Tuesday morning, just hours after his
Greenheart's in
Moda
chat.
Center show. Fire crews responded to Southwest Oak and Broadway, where they say that the bus had caught fire. They quickly put it out and cleared the smoke. No injuries were reported. Ice Cube's team says the crew is safe. The performer did share this statement saying, quote, "I'm not taking this incident as a personal attack. A coward like that would burn anybody's property that was out there at the time." Meantime, investigators are reviewing surveillance footage and working to find out what exactly started the fire.
All right, let's go read the article. Jump into the
This
Hellcat.
is what taking your chances at finding.
All right, let's jump into the Hellcat. Portland, Oregon. Ice Cube's tour bus was damaged Friday during downtown in Portland because they were having a riot. Of course, they have a mostly peaceful riot. According to the spokesman, Ice Cube was in Portland for performing on Monday night in the Portland Moda Center. According to Portland officials, firefighters responded to the chartered tour bus with fire in the wheel well near the Southwest Oak and Broadway. Firefighters said they extinguished the burning tire and ventilated the smoke from the bus. Ice Cube returns to Portland, and this wasn't, and they're conveniently not mentioning that what was going on was a protest because of ICE. They kind of want to make sure that they don't mention that part, because I think it's adorable. The fire being investigated, and fire officials are working to gather possible evidence or other information from nearby security cameras. Ice Cube spokesman said, we just talked about this, and I just think it's adorable, man. He was out here talking serious about the ICE raids, only to find himself caught up in an attack because his name is Ice Cube. Comedy. O'Shea Jackson, absolutely. O'Shea for sure. All right, I think we got one more. We got your boy. Oh, we got one more good one. I'm gonna bring y'all nephew in here. This guy right here is a mess. Real quick, shout out to the ICE comments. Okay, we're gonna get all these ICE puns out of here. Let's get them out of here. I see all the ICE puns coming in. ICE melts to extinguish fire. That's hilarious. Yo, what was that movie? He was just in a movie recently. I heard it was probably the worst movie that's ever been made. A lot of people are saying. I don't know what the name of the movie was, but it was terrible. Make these shirts Ice BB. You're wild. Fire and Ice Festival. That's hilarious. It was called War of the Worlds. There you go. I heard that was a terrible movie. Oh my gosh, I heard it was terrible. And I hate that Ice Cube is in it. I like Ice Cube. I ain't gonna lie. I think he's a good actor. I'm sorry. I think he's a decent actor. He usually plays himself though. I think his son is not bad. I don't think his son is bad at all. Yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah, apparently it was really bad. It was meant to be awful. I heard it was awful. So I guess they succeeded. I mean, I heard it was terrible. Every review I heard was just absolutely skewering it. Acting is good. Acting is good. He shouldn't get his politics up. Right. I love it. Okay. So we're going to talk about last thing, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to keep y'all all night. All right. A couple weeks ago, there was this photo op where the mayor of Baltimore was walking around Baltimore, talking about how safe it was and the such like that. I mean, surrounded by a mob of police officers, right? Just tons of police, and everything was just great, sunshine and rainbows. You know, Baltimore is safe. Blah 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 blah. Shout out to let me real quick. Shout out to the supers. I'm just real quick. I think I missed one. Yep. Can you explain subscriber mode, please, Mandy? Thank you for the $2 super. Subscriber mode is just that you have to at least subscribe to the channel to leave a comment. Because when I leave it open, bots tend to jump in. And then you'll see if I take it off and a whole bunch of weird comments start popping up, that's what happens. So subscriber mode at least keeps that down. So that's what subscriber mode is. And then lastly, Amethyst, thank you so much for the $2 super. She says most reboots are terrible. I don't know. I like reboots of movies or movies when they're redone well. I do kind of like them. I ain't gonna lie, but I do like remakes of songs. So we're not going to go there. But I love those. Okay, real quick. So there was a photo op where the mayor, I want to even say the governor of Maryland, was just wandering around Baltimore talking about how safe it is, blah, blah, blah. But they were surrounded by police officers off camera, right? Tons of them around without, they were outside the camera range. Well, Mayor Brandon Johnson did a very similar thing this past week, and it was gross. So it's Bike with Me and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. And he's riding a bike around Chicago as if you would think Chicago was like utopia. The way they present this. This is so funny to me. So green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go.
Oh, wow. Hey, good morning. Today I'm going to announce how many miles of bike lanes that we've added since I've taken office. Having like real secure protective bike lanes throughout the city is the ultimate goal. You have to include every single neighborhood. You have to have real constructive barriers to make sure that people can do it safely. I don't want there to be any section of the city that doesn't have like secure, dedicated bike lanes.
The phrase bike rig gets thrown around a lot. Is that something that you think is a good idea?
To have a sophisticated system, you know, where much like the way we work to regulate or control traffic, I mean, I think that is inevitable, particularly as we continue to grow our footprint. One fatality is one too many. It is a part of our overall public safety and community safety plan to make sure that our bikers are as secure as we possibly can make them.
Where's your favorite place to bike in the city?
Oh man, my route is through Austin and Garfield Park. I've had the chance to ride through the 606 with La Spada. That's a beautiful route. Obviously, the bike to drive is great. It really doesn't really matter where you ride your bike. You're going to see our architecture. You're going to see our parks. You're going to see our L stations. You're going to, you know, see our schools.
What kind of bike do you use? I'm sure it's not usually a divvy.
No, it's not usually a divvy. Actually, man, I don't even know what that bike is. I purchased that bike at a used bike shop. I was teaching at Jenner Academy.
Oh, wow.
Hey, good morning. When I was teaching at Jenner Academy, because I was taking public transportation to work on a more regular basis when I was a teacher. Someone said that bike was $1,100, $1,200 brand new. I got it for $200. It was definitely cheaper. I think what I learned is that there's no section of the city that is unreachable through biking. You do actually get a chance to slow down a little bit. You get a chance to just interact with Chicagoans. It's a good way to unwind. 30 degrees is like my cutoff.
Yeah.
Like once you get less than 30 degrees, yeah, it takes kind of a special person to continue to ride through those elements.
Do you think the city would be better off if Chicagoans were less reliant on cars?
I think we would have, a lot more room if we didn't rely upon vehicles as much. We're still a big city, so, we have to make sure that the city is inviting for all modes of transportation. I don't know if there's one that, we can hang our hat on and say, like, we should be predominantly one over the other. We'll say, though, as a world-class city, having a strong public transportation system, as well as having a strong grid, system, if you will, for biking, it's only going to attract more people to our city. That's the type of traffic that our communities do need. People are driving, they're driving through. When people are riding their bikes, they're more likely a part of the neighborhood in which they're riding in. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. It's kind of funny. You don't see the mayor every day on your
no,
walk out of the 7-Eleven.
In a full suit, yeah, with a divvy bike.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised you're not in more bike-friendly clothes,
I wanted to look nicer for the press conference. What's up, Chicago?
All right. So that was Mayor Johnson. I think, hey, I like biking. I think biking is cool. I think Brandon Johnson, just for whatever reason, refuses to address the most egregious part of what's going on in Chicago, which is really crime and policing. I know he doesn't like policing. I know he doesn't like dealing with crime. He thinks, if we get people out of their cars and more people riding their bikes, crime will go down. Or if we make more affordable housing, crime will go down. As if only people that rob and steal are people that don't have homes. That's kind of nose blind. But I mean, I hate it because he's spending so much time on stuff that is not going to benefit. And sadly, if Chicago doesn't wake up and they elect another Brandon Johnson next year, or they elect another Brandon-esque, Brandon adjacent type of person that's really going to follow along with the same nose blindness, they're going to be in the exact same spot. But I don't know what'll get them out of that spot either. Let me just be honest as well. I don't know how to get them out of the pickle that they're in, because we thought Lori Lightfoot was probably the worst thing, and look where they are now, right? I don't think she lives there up there, I believe, but I don't know what she's actually doing. Shout out to them. What we got here? Nacho says this: has he ever heard of bike? Really, easier still a bike than a car. I agree. To me, all things are on the issue in Chicago and big cities in general is that there's a crime issue. There is a crime issue. People don't respect other people's property. Just tell the truth, shame the devil. And from there, you're not going to be able to make any inroads and fix that unless you really honestly call the spade a spade. We got people who don't care about other people's property, and they need to be either punished severely or moved out of civil society, aka go to jail, so that other people can live peaceably. That's all we need. What is Amethyst? Thank you so much for the $5 super. I bet he won't ride by them. Right. The Burles Architectural Nightmare, aka Obama Presidential Library. It'll be finished after Umar's school opens. Y'all are wild. So wild. But no, I doubt highly he'll be there too. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the $5 super. That means a lot. Thank you so much. No, Lori Lightfoot is gone, yes, but I think she still lives in Chicago area because she was helping with Dalton earlier last year or earlier this year. Please forgive me, this year. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for that. There's been a fun night to talk about different and sundry things. I just want to clear out some of these traps and talk about some of these things I had on my plate so we can get into some other things. I do want to say this. Haven't settled in on it yet. There might be a studio change. So there might be a studio upgrade and change come around soon. So don't be surprised if you see some changes soon enough. I might take a day. Once I decide if I'm going to do it, I might take a day just to get it done. And of course, we have our new camera over here. Hopefully y'all like the new camera. Let me see. Do all kinds of cool stuff with this one. Oh, man. Okay. I can do all kinds of cool stuff with this camera now. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. Ooh. You see my bookcase behind me. You see my messy desk right here. I don't want you to see that kind of stuff. So for some reason, it looks like it's got a filter on it. I feel like the filter's on. But anyway, just having some fun. So there are going to be some changes that are coming up soon enough. So you'll probably see those in the near future. I'll give you a heads up on those. But then also, I can't speak all on it yet, but I have been asked to host a podcast for a brand. And so thank you so much. It's kind of cool. So I'll be hosting a small 20-minute podcast on my channel. I'm going to keep putting the videos on my channel. And I'll be interviewing content creators that use a particular product, and I'll talk about it once I get the green light from them. And they I want to make sure, I don't want to talk about it big, and then people start emailing me about it, and I don't have the green light to do it yet. But I will be doing a podcast for a brand, and I would love for y'all to check it out. It'll be an opportunity to introduce you to some new content creators that are doing all kinds of different things centered around this particular product. That pretty much a lot of content creators are using. So it won't be something that you've never heard of before. And it'll just be a good opportunity, a good conversation, and such like that. As soon as I get the green light from them, I'll let you know about the pilot episode that we're going to be shooting. Hopefully be shooting on Wednesday. Let you know about the pilot episode. And of course, when it goes up, love for y'all to go check it out, give your feedback and all that kind of good jazz like that. And so that is going to be coming up soon. Again, I want to say thank you so much. 50,000 subscribers. I never thought that we'd get here. I had no idea that we'd ever see 10 million views on like 3,200, 3,400 videos, which is totally crazy. But I'm so glad that y'all have been on this journey with me. If you just subscribed today, or you're one of the very first, whomever you are, welcome. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for tapping in with me and helping us build this culture of the best live chat on the internet, as well as the most electrifying comment section out there as well. Thank you. I receive it. I'm with you. Can't wait. Can't wait. But I just want to say again, thanks so much. I'm going to check out some of these comments. I don't doubt it. I would not doubt it one bit. Heart love. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. But I think, because I do have some videos on Candace I got to work on. My editor wants me to work on them probably tonight or first thing in the morning. The thing with Candace, same thing with Nick Fuentes, is that disingenuousness, people know when you're disingenuine. They know when you're doing this for the clicks. They know when you're doing this for you're doing this for notoriety and fame, not out of a love for the product, out of a love for your community, not out of love for Christ or love for truth. And they know that. They know that. So the Candies, they know that Candispiracy is selling them a bill of goods. The Nick Fuentes and his ilk, they know that they're getting sold a bill of goods. They know that man is jealous and envious. They know that Candace is the same. And so ultimately, my goal is to keep shining that light and keep being a contrast to that. Y'all better stop, because I think I thought I had a B video. I thought we had a B video. I'm gonna check. We do not have a B video. Do we not? No, we don't. We made one yesterday, but it was using Magic School Bus, and Magic School Bus said, no, sir, you cannot do that. Oh, but I do have this. I told y'all I was going to dissect Candace's testimony. I'm going to do that, and I'll drop that video. I'm going to dissect her testimony into Catholicism, because it's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. Lots of good. You want to call them the Skittles? I like calling them candies. Kind of like, like Taylor Swift, they're called Swifties. I'm thinking candies. Like, does that not work? I mean, I like Skittles too. That's kind of funny too. I like that one. Maybe we have to have like maybe do like a poll or something. Amethyst Angel comes up with some of the best names. She came up with Candispiracy, by the way. This is the one that's responsible for Candispiracy. Candispiracy and the Candies. Like that just seems to work now. Come on. You gotta let me know. I think that one works. The Candies Beehive. Y'all are wild. Candies are used in her chat boxes. Really? Okay. Candy and the honeys. I love it. What do you say here? Enjoy your time with the family. Burnout is real in this industry. It warms my soul to know you have a family that backs you up and helps the business. Thank you so much. They're a great group. I love them. You know, my big girl's in college. She just texts me and harasses me, but she still I think she kind of helps me out to some degree. I don't know. Maybe we'll do like a poll. Like, what should be the best name? Should it be the Candies, the Skittles, or whatever? Maybe we'll come up with one. But I want to say thank you no matter what. I really appreciate y'all rocking with us. And I'm looking forward to doing this again real soon. But maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll be doing 100,000 next month, right? That would be crazy. That would be so crazy. Man, but I just can't believe we made it. I just cannot believe it. Praise God. I cannot believe we made it to 50,000. And I mean, if you're out here in these YouTube streets, you know it can be kind of difficult. So shout out. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support. I just saw M&Ms. I'm like, that's crazy. Because that's what they say. They say, They just nod their head and agree with her, right? They don't even challenge her. Skittles reflect the brain state. Goodness gracious, Amethyst. Wow. Taste the Candispiracy. Oh no, man, that's a good one. You might have won me over. You might win me over. You might. Oh, that's good. All right, I might have to put a poll up. But see, people won't know like an answer. I need to give them like a little background because I think the M&Ms, the Skittles, the Beehive. I think the only thing with the Beehive is, that's Beyonce's shtick, and I don't want to get the wrong impression on that one. Hive Mind. Oh man, y'all are killing it now. Taste the Candispiracy is legit. See, I don't know, man. We are Taste the Rainbow. Taste the Candispiracy. Oh, so you still trying to sell the Skittles? I see what you did there. I see that. Okay. I like it. Kool-Aid is flowing all over. Yes, the Kool-Aid is strong within that. That's some heavy lace Kool-Aid that they'd be drinking over there for sure. Eric was made CEO, not president of Turning Point. Small detail. Okay, thank you so much. I apologize. CEO. Make sure if I said that wrong. Candyology. Y'all are wild. There's a lot that we can do with that. Oh my gosh, there's a lot we can do with that. That's a good one too. I like Candispiracy. I think the overall consensus is we're good with Candispiracy. But I'm gonna make a poll. I will make a poll probably first thing in the morning because I do need to get this video done for him. But that might be it. That is crazy. All right. Seeing her drones, worker bees. Yeah, I can get with that. It's just so funny to me, man, because we all know it's going to be a mess this week. It's going to be a dumpster fire. She's going to come out of pocket with some of the craziest stuff. She who is without receipts. Now, that is true. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's see our poll. Now speaking of polls, what am I doing here? All right, I'm going to get out of here. I am not going to sit here and keep messing with y'all all night. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so somebody, I don't know who did it. Somebody went on my page and put a poll up and said, what does it say? I've noticed that several content creators aren't using Candispiracy's name. So I've come up with a compromise. Which one do you choose? So we got the one who will falsely name names, Lord, trust me, bro, she who lacks receipts or context, and then Lord Candamort. And at the current moment, if I close it out right now, how many votes they got? 430 votes. That's crazy. All right. At the current moment, she who lacks receipts or context has 50% of the votes. So if y'all want to, make sure y'all go and vote on that. When we hit 500, we'll close it out. How about that? And there's a lot of comments too. Y'all, what y'all talk about? I love it. I love it. But I want to say thank y'all again. Candamore is crazy work. It's on my, here, let me, it's on the community post, but I'm just going to drop it in the chat. There it is. It's on the community, and if on my page, the community post, right at the top, community under, you go to post right here, community post. Candamore is crazy. And don't be using y'all burner accounts either. Don't be doing that. All right, what we got here? Homie the Clown, Candace, C-A-N-spiracy. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did. Y'all are loving this bee thing. I mean, she really did. She really did stick her foot in it with that bee thing. So I agree 100%. She deserves it. Even more than the Ninja Turtles, right? Because I thought the Ninja Turtles was hilarious with the whole, there's a secret corridor, blah, blah, blah. I just knew that was going to cook. But yeah, where's the Ninja Turtle one? I mean, she literally had that Ninja Turtle on Tuesday. And by Thursday, she had come up with the bees. That's crazy work. I couldn't think of that. I couldn't think of Lourdes because it didn't sound right to me. And I was just like, Lord, Candamore. Well, if that one wins, then we'll make sure it's called Lourdes Candamore, not Lord Candamore. I just couldn't think of a name. That's why I should ask people. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all, thank you so much. What we got? Oh, they vote, man. All right, when we hit 500, we'll close it out. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you very much for all 50,000 of y'all, from the first one to the 50,001 of y'all. There's actually several more since I hit yesterday. It's almost like 50,200. Thank you so much. That's crazy. But I really appreciate you. Thank you so much to the supporters. All of y'all, it means a lot. I'm glad y'all rocking with me. Yep, you're right. Thank you, Nacho. I will say this one more time. If you run across, because some people have asked, like, hey, there's other content creators out here, like Storybox and Mira K and such like that. If you think that it will be a good relationship, or you think that they have some, or you have access to them, or you've already talked to them and emailed them, whatever like that, and you say, hey, would you ever want to work with the J-Wit podcast or something? Feel free to just do an introduction. Say, hey, you can shoot me an email, dearwokec@gmail.com. If you know people that work at Turning Point that want to come on and talk, or let me see real quick. There it is right there. All right, there's my email. And whatever like that, let me know. It'd be great. If you want to do a warm introduction, say, hey, I know this guy. He might want to talk to you. I know tomorrow I'm interviewing somebody. I'll tell you about it afterwards. But I'm interviewing somebody that I think will be very beneficial. Lots of good insights. I'm hoping that you all will enjoy it, but I'll tell you about her tomorrow. But yeah, let me know. What's it? Turning Point will help you with that. You should hear from them within a few days. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, I'd love to hear from them. I'd love to talk with them and see where they're going and what we can do to help as a community and such of that nature. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that, Nacho. Appreciate you. But everybody, thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you again for helping me hit the goal of 50,000 subscribers and almost 1 million views this month, which is crazy. We're going to do it again next month. We're going to try to hit it again, try to hit 1 million again next month. That'll be great. Keep giving me ideas. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me ideas of things they would like me to look at. I appreciate you. All that kind of good jazz. I do try to give it respect. If I cannot, sometimes I do pass it to other content creators, but I also let them know, like, hey, I passed this to this person or shared it with another person because I'm just not gonna have time to do it. But I do thank y'all so much for rocking with me. It means a lot that y'all do. So let's do this again real soon. Until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.